everybody. I decided that since I'm gonna be on my way to college soon, that I should do a video on what I want to accomplish as a special ed teacher, on what I want to educate my kids, all my students. So now I don't like the education that I witnessed throughout my 12 years of school because we wasn't in depth with Black history, which I love Black history so much. We wasn't in depth with who actually discovered America, because people thinks that Christopher Columbus discovered America first, but we all know it was the Vikings. And we never talked about gay rights. I did not have sex education. So when I become a teacher, with what I would do as a teacher would teach more in depth of Black history. That means for Martin Luther King Day in January, I will, instead of just one day of Martin Luther King, I will have the whole month of focusing on that time period of Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life. From his birth to his assassination. So talk about the segregation, talk about his childhood, talked about the fact that he went to college at the age of 15. Talk about his wife and his kids. Talk about his I Have a Dream speech. And then, of course, Selma. So when the movies I would probably put in for that month would be Alf and Martin, which talks about I Have a Dream speech, his childhood, 15 years old going to college, and the assassination. I'll put in Rosa Parks, and I'll put in Normal Paths, which talks about Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks because of the idea of protesting. And I would put in Selma, because I think it's important to know about that Martin Luther King also fought for voting rights in Selma, Alabama. I think it's in Alabama. Yeah. And then in February, which is Black History Month, where I'll be more in depth of Black history. Every single day. It would only be taught of Black history. So it'd be Martin Luther King, even more in depth. Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman, slavery, Phineas Whitney, all these great blacks that made history. I would be more in depth. March, I think I would probably talk a lot about gay rights. Gay rights and women's rights. I'll combine the two somehow. I would talk about Harvey Milk. And even though that's rated R, and I'm going to be teaching 5th and 6th graders, I'm going to put in that movie no matter what, because I don't care if there's about two guys making out. I'm still going to put in that movie because it's important for history. And I want everybody to know about gay rights. So I'll put in that. Talk about Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Oh, I remember her name. Awesome. And all these amazing people that support gay rights, the LGBTQ people, and people who will support women's rights. And I'll also talk about I'm blanking on Black. March, April, May. April. I will try to figure out what I want to do for April. I'll figure out what I want to do for May. But I think I would, in May and June, I would talk about middle school and high school and college, and prepare my students for life and getting ready to be out of elementary school. So that's when I will really get into sex ed, sexual orientation, of course, and helping them be who they want to be and be safe when they want to have sex. And to know the options when it comes to sex, know the options about middle school, high school, and college at that age, so they can know what job they want to have. September, which is the new year, new school year, I'll talk about August and September. I'll tell my students about the curriculum that I created myself. I'm not going to use the curriculum that the school gives me. I'm going to use the curriculum in my mind, by my knowledge. I'll be going to the library and checking out books and reading them to the kids every single week. And there'll be a test on each topic that we could be having. But each thing that we could be talking about, it will not be a week-long thing. It's going to be like a month thing at a minimum. Depending on what it is. Because I want to make sure that my students know as much history as they can within the year. I will not let any schedule or curriculum stop me from educating my kids. October, I will talk about the sandwich trials and any witch trials that happen, because I never learned that in school. I had to learn that outside of school and read about it. I'll talk about Lizzie Borden. I'll talk about Lucy Keys, because that's all part of history, and I want my students to know about that. Even though it's dark, I want them to understand it. November, of course, Thanksgiving. I'll talk about the Pilgrims and be more in depth of Native Americans in Pacific. But I would get them to understand that the very first Thanksgiving was because of Abraham Lincoln. Because this woman, Sarah, keeps sending letters to all these presidents to have a Thanksgiving to be a national holiday. So I will talk about that. December, I will talk about, be more in depth of Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas. So it'd be a very religious month. So I will talk about all the religions that my students will have, including my own religion, Wicca. So therefore I will talk about Yuletide and all the history of all these Sabbats, the history of Wicca. I will not get into biblical stuff because you separate church and state, but I will explain to them why people are so different from each other. So that's what I would do as a teacher when it comes to history. So I hope you enjoyed that. See you next time. Bye now.